everyone, welcome back again to this channel. Welcome back to Breaking News Nigeria. So Nigeria is heating up again, and this time it's about Nnamdi Kanu. The call for his release is shaking the entire nation. From activists to political figure, everyone seems to be picking a side. Now, Showore has taken the lead, organizing what's fast becoming one of the most talked about protests of the year, the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Showore is saying that there's going to be a protest. They're going to march to Aso Rock, to demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu. But that's not all. In a shocking tweet, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has now added a voice in full support of the movement. This unexpected move has sent shockwaves across the political space. Some Nigerians are praising Atiku for standing for justice and fairness, while others believe is a political strategy, a smart way to win the hearts of the Southeast ahead of the future election. Meanwhile, some voices are warning the Igbos not to get too involved, claiming that Showore and other politicians might just be using Nnamdi Kanu's situation as a campaigning tool. But my people, as I said yesterday, anything that will bring Nnamdi Kanu out of that DSS custody, like anything that will help him regain his freedom, we should support him wholeheartedly. Because let's be honest, that man has suffered enough. He is sick, and justice delayed is also what justice denied. Now before I show you guys a video of what Rufai Oseni and Dr. Abati have to say about this trending matter of this protest that is coming up on October 20th, let me show you guys what many Nigerians are reacting to what Atiku said. You guys know that Atiku said that he's going to lend his voice in this part. He's going to follow Showore to match to that, to match. He's going to follow Showore to match to Aso Rock, to demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So guys, just take a look at this. This is what Atiku Abubakar he said on his Twitter account. So this is what he said: the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu remains an open sore on our nation's consciousness and a stay on our belief in the rule of law. Defying court orders that granted him bail is an abuse of power and an assault on justice. I therefore lend my voice in full support of the campaign led by Showore for his immediate release or due prosecution. We fail as patriots if we allow Kanu's case to fester as yet another wound this nation refuses to heal. Now, like immediately Atiku Abubakar said this, a lot of people started shouting, well, why will Atiku Abubakar, a former vice president say such a thing? I'll show you guys many people's reaction. So this is what somebody said. Let's take this person's reaction. He said, well done, His Excellency Atiku. Your voice has been counted amongst the voice of reason, and we will remember Nnamdi Kanu must be free. A lot of people are telling him that, oh, he has done so well, by coming out to demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So let us take another person's, comment here. Somebody said, history is about to be made in this country called Nigeria. Nigeria, as we know, is a very fragile state. Given the level of hunger and suffering happening right now, every politician seems eager to use the release of Nnamdi Kanu as a tool to secure cheap political points. If the federal government succumbs to this pressure and releases Kanu without any form of deal, the unity of Nigeria could take a very different shape in the coming years. Nnamdi Kanu remains one of the greatest threats to Nigerians' unity, but I'm not paid to know this. DSS understand exactly what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of people were coming against what Atiku said. Some people are even saying that why would they even release Nnamdi Kanu? Now, somebody here said, the under comment here said, I never thought I would see a day when national leaders would publicly side with someone whose action was once torn at our country's fabric. Justice must be balanced with accountability, not traded for politics. Like, many people are just saying their own opinion. Some people came out and were even, insulting Atiku Abubakar. Say, why would he say such a thing? That they said that Nnamdi Kanu is a threat to national security, that is a threat. That why would they even be supporting, his release? Why many people are saying that kudos to Atiku Abubakar for trying to, for coming out and lending his voice, saying that I'm going to follow you guys. I'm going to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is released. So let's take another comment here. Someone said, the continued detention of, this is what Atiku Abubakar posted on his. He said, the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu remains an open sore on the national He said it remains an open sore on our national consciousness and a stain on our belief for the rule of law. Defying court orders that granted him bail is an abuse of power and an assault on justice. So therefore, he said he's going to lend his voice to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released. Say he's going to support. In fact, he's going to lend his voice in full support of the campaign, which is going to be led by Showore. And no, this is what someone said under his post. He said, injustice to one is injustice to all. Thank you, Your Excellency, for joining the call, for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Honestly, like, people are, saying that thank you, Abubakar, for coming out. Because people do not expect that Atiku Abubakar will finally come out, to support the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And all of us were waiting for that day. Yes, we are waiting for October 20th, to see what will really happen. And I'm also going to be, before I read this, what this person said here, I'm going to show you guys a video of what many people are reacting to this. What Very Dark Man said. Even Uwazirike came out and said that he's going to join that protest. Like, he's going to come out. Uwazirike said he's going to come out and join the protest. Even Very Dark Man, commented based on this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's issue. So let us listen to what Uwazirike have to say, as well as what Rufai and Dr. Basi have to say concerning this issue. So guys, watch this video and drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll be right back. Right? Just watch today this.
And listen to the representations made. I've listened to the court appearance of Nnamdi Kanu today, and listened to the representations made by his lawyer. I've listened to the court appearance of Nnamdi Kanu today. I've listened to the court appearance of Nnamdi Kanu today, and listened to the representations made by his lawyers, and which to say that I want to be part of any peaceful demonstration in Abuja or anywhere in Nigeria for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. I personally reached out to Barrister Lawrence Ejimako long ago, telling him that I would want to be one of the witnesses, defense witnesses to Nnamdi Kanu. Recently, just about last week, I reminded him of my desire to be one of the defense witnesses to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You can ask Lawyer Ejimako. I told him. So, for this new development, I want to be part of it. I am ready to go to Abuja or any part of Nigeria where such demonstrations will take place. I will be part of it, provided it is anchored on non-violence, peaceful protests. I will be there, and I mean it. I will personally be there. This is not all about Nnamdi Kanu. This is about Ndi Igbo. If anybody thinks that Nnamdi Kanu is being humiliated today, no. It's Ndi Igbo that are being humiliated. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu. There's nothing like terrorism, this and that. Nothing like that. When my men were being killed in the streets of Southeast, were they terrorists? What did they do? When Nnamdi Kanu, when Ojukwu was declared to be arrested by DSS, simply because he said he supported Uwazirike. He was given a one-way ticket, economy class, to Abuja. What did he do? It was just to humiliate Ndi Igbo by commanding our leader, Odumegwu Ojukwu, to proceed to Abuja on a one-way ticket, economy class. So all these things, I know them very well. It has got nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. It has to do with Ndi Igbo. To tell us that we don't matter in Nigeria and that we could be treated anyhow. If you talk of terrorism charge or whatever, how can you be negotiating with terrorists from another tribe, one tribe, and keeping into prison terrorists from another tribe? Where's the justice? So it has not got, it has nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. It has to do with the injustice rooted in Nigeria against Ndigo. That is why I will be there. That's why I will be there. It could be anybody else. It could be anybody else. It has nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu, terrorism, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. It has everything to do with Ndigo. The situation of Ndigo in Nigeria, the humiliation of Ndigo in Nigeria, and everybody is affected. We have to do this because of the future of our children. I will be there. Thank you.
Trial of the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Wednesday was adjourned to October 16 following the Nigerian Medical Association's failure to submit its health assessment report. The Federal High Court in Abuja postponed Wednesday's proceedings after the Medical Association panel requested more time to finalize its findings. The court had previously ordered the president of the Medical Association to constitute a board of medical experts to investigate Nnamdi Kanu's alleged deteriorating health and determine whether DSS medical facilities are adequate for his care or if he should be moved to the National Hospital. The medical report is also expected to determine whether Nnamdi Kanu is fit to stand trial. Meanwhile, Abia State Representative Obi Agwocha, the House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, engaged in a heated 7-minute confrontation during Tuesday's plenary over Nnamdi Kanu's deteriorating health condition. Agwocha had raised the point of privilege, stating that a letter he submitted on August 26 to the House Speaker, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regarding Nnamdi Kanu's worsening health has yet to receive any response, he declared. Nnamdi Kanu is on the verge of death. Let's take a look.
You don't shut me down. You also have the right.
Honorable,
it is important, Mr. Speaker,
it
that
is
this House
only when your
takes
privilege is
cognizance
compromised
of the issue of President Nnamdi Kanu.
that you can bring it up. And I thought that particular position is talking in respect of instances where the issues is beyond your control. But this is not what a letter from you to from yourself to me.
Yes, sir. The
When you
letter is
have
here.
as a member
Mr. Speaker.
direct access to come to my office and seek for explanation.
Mr. Speaker,
why?
I've been
Why
to
do
your
you have to
office.
go through this?
I've been to your office to seek
over-arguing with the speaker. Please.
Excuse me, sir. Can you read the order book, Rule 6 and subsection 2?
Oh, that was quite chaotic. The speaker had questioned Agwocha's use of point of privilege to demand action, but Agwocha had insisted that it was a matter of life and death and that House rules entitled him to raise matters of privilege. The speaker ruled him out of order, insisting that, the floor was not the right place for such follow-up. Well, the House of Representatives now scheduled to debate the motion concerning the urgent medical intervention for Nnamdi Kanu this week, following the point of order raised by Obi Agwocha seeking urgent action on the matter. Well, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu intervened, assuring that the matter would be properly presented and heard by the House. Nnamdi Kanu has been in DSS custody since being extradited from Kenya in June 2021 and faces terrorism charges. Courts have repeatedly declined requests to allow him leave custody for medical treatment, despite growing calls for his release from Southeast stakeholders. Meanwhile, activist Omoyele Sowore has challenged Labour Party leader Peter Obi, Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, Governor Alex Oti, and other Southeast leaders to march to Aso Rock for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. In a post on Tuesday, Sowore said he will set aside his differences with some politicians for one cause, Nnamdi Kanu's release. He declared, "I challenge every politician or person of good conscience from the Southeast who says they want Nnamdi Kanu released to stop the rhetoric. The time for action is now. Sowore vowed to personally lead a peaceful march to the presidential villa, calling on every Southeast leader and concerned Nigerians to join. Sowore has been quite vocal right now for the Nnamdi Kanu release, obviously because of the lawyers and Nnamdi Kanu's deteriorating health, as it were. You know, they've been campaigning for him to be treated at the National Hospital or even taken out of the country. I mean, he remains innocent until proven guilty at this point. Dr. Abati.
Every accused person is innocent until proven guilty, and that's why they deserve fair hearing under Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution. But what are the issues? I'll try to run through them very quickly. Now, Honorable Obi Agocha was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is his constituent, and he has a right to raise an issue to defend the interests of his constituent, quoting Order 6, Rule 2. But the disagreement with the Honorable Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, was about procedure. But it's just as well that Honorable Benjamin Kalu has also intervened, and now the House, will still take a look at that matter, as Abbas insisted that due procedure should be followed. However, the issue has two legs to it. There is a political side that the Nigerian government has been dealing with. People from the East, interested parties like Sowore, saying that, look, you have to deal with this issue. It's not just law, stricto sensu. You can find a political situation, and there are leaders from the Southeast who have been saying a political solution is a better option. Now, the Buhari administration did not take that option, saying that the matter was before the courts. Now they are also approaching the Tinubu administration to find a political solution to the matter of Nnamdi Kanu. Well, whether President Tinubu would take that advice or not remains to be seen. There are persons who have been saying that even with the aggressiveness from ADC and the opposition, maybe to win votes in the Southeast, President Tinubu should just release Nnamdi Kanu, because that may translate into a political gain. But it's up to the government of the day to look at that matter. After all, the Attorney General of the Federation has the powers under any case of this nature to enter in nolle prosequi. But that's politics. Now, as for law, the matter was before the Court of Justice James Omotosho. Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers had filed a no-case submission, but Justice James Omotosho decided in the last sitting on the matter that, in fact, there is a prima facie case that has been established by the prosecution that Nnamdi Kanu has to answer. If the no-case submission, appeal had worked, now the case will have been thrown out.
Right.
But the position in the law court is that no, there is a matter to be addressed. And Justice Omotosho also ruled that, look, in this particular matter, there are terrorism charges that have been established, and there are three that the defense lawyers could not establish a case of extraordinary rendition, which is, that he was abducted, from Kenya and brought to Nigeria by force. So the court, as at this moment, says there is a case to be answered. Secondly, Justice James Omotosho also said the NMA should form a committee on this matter of health to look at the condition of Nnamdi Kanu. And that matter, the NMA couldn't finish its work within the time frame given.
Right.
Now the matter has now been adjourned, I think, till October 16. So you have two issues to it: the politics of it, the legal part of it, and there's a third leg that is now being suggested by Omoyele Sowore, that leaders of thought, leaders of conscience in the Southeast, like Peter Obi, like Governor Soludo, should carry placards and go and demonstrate in front of Aso Villa, where the practicability of that remains to be seen, because these are stakeholders in their own right.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Mr. Peter Obi will want to carry a placards, and whether a governor will go and carry placards and march.
He's going to the, so he's going to.
Mr. Peter Obi wants to carry placards.
No, I said Omoyele said he's going to go.
Yeah, he can do it, but
he's inviting all Nigerians with conscience.
The choice is for
yes.
those leaders from the southeast. In this country where there is accidental discharge,
yes.
and where policemen are very quick to use tear gas, I don't know who will take that respect.
Yes.
Omoyele Sowore is an activist.
Yes, and everyone speaking up at this point, it is their right to speak up for what they see as injustice. Obi Agwocha has been quite vocal. In fact, he's been nominated by Nnamdi Kanu as the chief negotiator with the federal government at this point. We will continue to follow up on the story. Well, in another development, the Federal High Court in Osogbo, Osun State, has issued a fresh order directing the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to arrest former INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, for contempt of court. The Action Alliance instituted the case challenging INEC and Yakubu over non-compliance with a court judgment ordering the commission to upload party chairman Adekunle Omoje's name and other National Executive Committee members on the INEC portal. Meanwhile, the National Secretary of CUPP, Peter Ame, has accused Professor Yakubu of damaging Nigeria's multi-party democracy during his 10-year tenure, saying under Yakubu, the opposition suffered. In the same vein, Yiga Africa's Samson Itodo acknowledged Yakubu introduced remarkable reforms like BVAS and IREV, but noted he left behind a weak INEC due to political interference. And you know, he's not the only one saying this. Yesterday, when we took our milestone story, we actually talked about the fact that that is the legacy that Professor Mahmood Yakubu has left behind, the introduction of these technological advancements, IREV, BVAS. But can we really say
technical glitches?
No, can we want to add no, that? I mean, he did introduce technical glitches as well, because the last presidential election, that's what I wanted to say, the last presidential election, that was the biggest glitch, I would say, by INEC. INEC dropped the ball during that election in 2023, the election that saw President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in power at this point. Your thoughts on the arrest? The arrest of Professor Mahmood Yakubu, and of course all of these people, what they've said so far.
So when the headline, when it broke yesterday, a number of people were wondering what would it be, what swift justice, just like that. He just tendered his resignation, and already a warrant for his address was out, or the court had ordered the IGP. But when you look closer at the story, you see that it was made on the 29th of September, this order, and it was before he tendered his resignation. It's around a matter that with the Action Alliance AA, where the court had ruled that their members, the Rufai Omwaje-led executive committee, should be listed on the INEC website, which you already talked about, and he didn't do it, he didn't comply. So at the heart of this is the lack of respect for the rule of law, or when courts rule and then you are cherry picking as to which to obey or not, or the timely fashion in which to do that. And so the court held him in contempt of court, the court before Justice Adefunmilayo Demi-Ajayi held him in the Federal High Court in Abuja, in Osogbo, held him in contempt and said he should also pay 100,000 naira to the plaintiffs, and that's what happened. So he has not yet been investigated for his actions in INEC, and maybe that's what warrants the arrest. It was done while he was in office. So it would be now, the onus would now be the responsibility for the new acting chair of INEC, Mrs. Agbamoche Umbu, to do her due diligence by restoring those names according to the court, prescribed court's judgment. Except INEC decides to appeal that judgment, they have a responsibility to do that. So it speaks larger to what has happened in recent times with judgments by the court, obeying or lack of obeying, a contempt for court proceedings, a lack of respect for the rule of law. And again, Oji, talking about legacy, this might very well be part of his legacy as INEC chair. And I believe that Nigerians are still cooking, are still putting together notes on how to really analyze the tenure.
What do you mean the part of his legacy? The arrest?
Not respecting
not respecting court
held in
judgments,
contempt of court.
Yes.
Part of it is that and when you talk about technical glitches, we still don't have a proper report from INEC or an explanation that Nigerians can understand as to what happened during the 2023 elections.
The 2023 presidential elections specifically.
Even other acts would be also the Edo State governorship elections.
Yes.
Recall what happened in courts where the plaintiffs are accused that INEC didn't release the back end early enough to them. So there are many. If you look at a number of the elections that were done by INEC under the tenure of Professor Yakubu, there are a lot of criticisms around.
There was,
despite the Electoral Act that was meant to make the process more transparent, he didn't use that tool to leave a legacy that Nigerians would say he gave free and fair elections.
What was the point of the introduction if you are not going to use it?
Let's look at the legal part of it. Now, a judge in Oshobo has now given an order to say he should be charged for contempt. Now, that contempt, was the order given in personam or was it given against the institution? If it is given against the institution, then of course he's been rendered academic because he's no longer the chairman of INEC.
So do you know which it is?
We don't know. So we need to know the details.
No, I'll tell you what the report is. Hold on, sorry. The report is that they should arrest Professor Mahmood Yakubu. That's the report.
Okay, in what capacity?
So he was mentioned in the suit.
In what capacity? He's no longer the chairman.
Yes.
The correction that the Action Alliance is looking for,
yes,
which is that their name should be listed on the website, the chairman, national chairman of the party, and the others. Now, Mahmood Yakubu is no longer in a position to do it. However, Mary Agbamuchembu is a lawyer. Yes. They have a legal department. They will sort it out.
They will.
But
all right.
The thing about contempt is you can either be contemptuous in the face of the court or away from the face of the court. Okay. The law cannot, the court cannot act in vain. So if you go and arrest him now, to do what? Well, to offer what remedy?
Well, the matter.
Is it
about offering a remedy, or is it about the fact that
the substance? That is what is called rem. Yes. The substance is the demand by the Action Alliance that they want to be listed. But don't let me do their job for them. May Agbamuchembu will address all of this. He's a lawyer. Secondly, the point you were making about assessment. Yes. We said yesterday that the assessment will be mixed. Itodo, you quoted him, in Preston.
Yes.
Uriwa, the Emmanuel Nwobiko, that's the name of the national coordinator. He's praising Professor Yakub Mahmood, but some other people will not praise.
Well, in fairness, there's this also story about how the Beavers helped the Osun election as well. Yeah. The Beavers played a very critical role during the Adeleke bringing them.
Definitely.
On that, I would like to praise Mahmood.
Yes, on that note,
because what happened was when he did the by-elections. And the Beavers worked. We celebrated.
We did, yes.
I think that was what even segued into what happened in Edo State. It worked in Osho, it worked in Edo State. But he was also not on his guard. Then the politicians learned how to manipulate the system.
All right.
Then they beat him at his own game. That's where he lost it.
That's all right. Well, all right. We'll follow up on the story. Now to an update on yesterday's tragic story involving the late army officer, Lieutenant Samson Haruna, who was allegedly set ablaze by his wife during a domestic dispute. Well, a new audio recording allegedly featuring the late lieutenant's wife is circulating on social media, where she says her husband's death was caused by a terrible accident and not a deliberate act. Mrs. Haruna, who is said to be in police custody in the audio recording, claims her husband accidentally kicked a gallon of fuel during their altercation on September 22nd, causing it to spill. She also alleged that her husband had threatened to set her ablaze if her parents didn't come to take her home, but maintained the fire outbreak was not intentional. She also accused the late officer of previously subjecting her to domestic violence, claiming one beating led to a miscarriage. According to her, while on his hospital bed at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, Lieutenant Haruna allegedly begged her to visit and pleaded with authorities to drop the case, admitting the fire was accidental before he succumbed to his injuries. Nigerians on social media have expressed mixed reactions, with some demanding justice for the deceased, while others call for a fair investigation into what truly transpired that night. And that's what we're calling for here. A fair, transparent investigation as to what truly transpired that night. We did see that, we did hear that audio recording allegedly featuring, and I say allegedly at this point because they say that she's in police custody. Where did she make the audio recording? But the story is just quite confusing. First of all, if she said that the guy was in the storeroom and the petrol spilled, and then he was threatening her with a lighter to set that place ablaze. When did the fire start?
All right, so I see the organized protest for the release.
Fire start? Those are the sort of questions that Nigerians are asking on social media. We need this investigation. I thought it was important to highlight this story because we took it yesterday. We took the side of the family, the Haruna family. Now we are taking the side of the wife of the late lieutenant. Fire start? Fire start? Those are the sort of questions that Nigerians are asking on social media. We need this investigation. I thought it was important to highlight this story because we took it yesterday. We took the side of the family, the Haruna family. Now we are taking the side of the wife of the late lieutenant. Mrs. Reti Haruna, did you want to say something, Ayo Rufai?
Just to say that I think this goes a light on domestic violence. Yes. From her accounts, we see that it didn't just start with that particular fight that unfortunately ended the life of her husband. This has happened for a long time, and then there are questions around, is there any place to seek help, or do people, man or woman, seek help when they are in a domestically, abusive relationship? I think that's important because this could have been cut short and we would not have escalated to this if they had already found solution when the domestic, if her claims about him beating her, in the early part was true. However, this is the importance of investigations, despite when you hear one side of the story. There's a side, the other side, and the truth. So what Nigerians want is for us to get to the bottom of the truth as to what really, happened in that household, and whoever is found guilty brought to the book. That's what we want.
I said something yesterday, Audrey. I was talking to Aya and Dr. Abati. I said the most important part in a conversation when people are about to come together is not about love. At some point, I'll feel good about you, I will not feel good about the person.
Yes.
The butterflies in my stomach will not be there every time. But the most important conversation should be a conflict resolution mechanism. If both of you cannot agree on how to manage conflicts, then please don't be together. Because as human beings, we will always have conflicts.
Yes.
As long as we breathe, we'll have conflicts. But if two people are coming together and they want to be together, they must think about conflict resolution mechanisms. So, for everybody going out on a date today or this night, ask that person you're on a date with, in your worst moment of anger, would you still love me and listen to me?
Yes, your spouse can make and break you. And this is why it's so important to choose the right partner. Hopefully, you pray
and then people should seek mental health counseling. A lot of people are not okay. They are not normal.
Yes.
You see people who wear dress and all that. So there should be mental health counseling. And then families should also be involved. Sometimes family is the problem.
Sometimes family is the problem. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Okay.
No, I know that. Especially we've had so many stories about family involvement with marriages and all of that. No, you just have to keep being prayerful. Everything hopefully just, comes down to understanding your spouse and loving each other when you are in a relationship. Well, I pray, for, this man and his family. I pray that they get some sort of comfort. May his soul continue to rest in peace. And I hope, like I said, the investigation is speedy. Let's now take this story in Delta State, where students of the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Ifurun, on Wednesday trooped out in protest against an alleged tuition fee hike by the institution's management. The protesters carried placards and various inscriptions condemning the purported fee increase, which allegedly raised tuition from 87,000 naira to 144,000 naira 500 for returning students and 194,000 naira 500 for final year students.
You can.
I mean, this is such a strange development. Meanwhile, the university management had denied authorizing any free increment. However, in a dramatic turn of events, the Senate held an emergency meeting and resolved that the 2024-2025 session has come to an end with immediate effect, directing all students to vacate halls of the residence and premises by 6 p.m. Wednesday, with warnings of disciplinary actions for non-compliance, as seen in this letter shown on screen. If we had that letter, we would pull it up. We saw this letter. We haven't been able to reach the Senate at this point, but it is quite unfortunate. I mean, the student union, it's quite unfortunate that this is what happens at, at this sort of institution. People come out to protest and then you say, go home. We need to follow up. I have placed a call and hopefully we'll follow up on that.
All right, so I see some more yellow show already. All right, so I see some more yellow show already. They organized protests for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and surprisingly, Atiku Abubakar also say we are marching together on the 20th of October. We are marching to Aso Rock to demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu. It has been long overdue, to be very, very honest, because it is pure injustice. Now, in the north, you don't give amnesty and you set up a peace deal with terrorists where enter villages by people. Do you understand? These people where they buy include Nigerian army, Nigerian police, air force, navy, our military men. These people don't buy them. These people are proper mercenaries where get guns. They're involved in kidnapping. They could enter villages, carry young girls from the age of 10 up, from the age of 9, 10 up. They'll pack them, enter inside bush. They'll sleep with those girls. They go knock their forceful entry. Some of them go born inside that bush. Those children now, they'll come raise them again to be terrorists. And at the end of the day, these people are not supposed to buy, when I bring them, give them peace deal, when I give them amnesty. Then on the other hand, there's a guy called Nnamdi Kanu. Well, when I say, when I carry for treasonable offense, when I say, in they instigate violence, you understand? And you say he said a couple of things, right? But guess what? This one no do waiting those other ones too, but you keep him for prison. Do you understand? What are you keeping him for? And most of the things you are alleging that he said does not have proof. That is why when I never be prosecutor I'm up to now. When I still the debate for court for over how many years. But this is number one. Number two, you see, a lot of you don't know that this Nnamdi Kanu matter has a lot to do with some politics that is not politics. In what sense? 50% of the people keeping Nnamdi Kanu in detention is actually some of the Igbo elites. Some of the big business Igbo men that don't want him to come out, right? It's not just the government alone. Some of the big business Igbo men, because they see it as, if this guy comes like this, our business is under threat. Because his fights, if these fights continue, bro, it's going to be a problem for us. I don't know if you understand. That's why you see that the big business Igbo men, they will not put their mouths, they will not lend their voice for Nnamdi Kanu. See him as... even their media spaces have been controlled, right, by this elite. You shouldn't talk about Nnamdi Kanu or talk about his release. Do you understand? Now when we say they won't go protest now, we're not sure, right? If any Igbo won't try to join, It gets media team where they don't set up. Those media team will just go online, go to right, say they are planning to set the Igbos up so that if they go and protest, they go by them. They want to reduce the numbers of the Igbos. They want to. That's what you see all over social media. Show what has been used so that it will draw the Igbos out. Let the government. I will expect that to come soon. The Ohaneses. This guy has been in prison for over how many years? Other people will do worse than waiting that they allege them, that they give them peace deal, that they free them, that they go to their house. But this guy man, they for sale. But anyways, 20th is the date. Oh no, the Niger. 20th is the date. For me personally, what am I trying to say? From my own angle, right? It's simple. It's injustice against him. If you are giving people peace deal, for people who do bigger crimes, he deserves a peace deal as well. Yes, leave him alone. Free him. Let him go back to his people. It's as easy as ABCD. Free him. So, I'm not gonna go. Anyways, peace and love. Don't play. If you play gun now, you will learn the hard way.
So is there likely to be an end to the ordeal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu anytime soon? Or is he now likely to wither away in perpetual detention as his supporters fear? The IPOB separatist leader has been... So is there likely... So is there likely to be... So is there likely to... So is there likely to be an end to the ordeal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu anytime soon? Or is he now likely to wither away in perpetual detention as his supporters fear? The IPOB separatist leader has been incarcerated for over 10 years on charges of treasonable felony, despite various court orders and appeals for his release. Till date, he stands unconvicted, and for many champions of justice, his continued detention is both a travesty and a violation of his fundamental human rights. They say this exposes the widening gap between Nigeria's constitutional provisions of a right to a fair trial within a reasonable time and the daily realities of the citizens of this besmirched country, in a world in which the enduring principle and the cornerstone of the law is that every individual is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Well, today, a new call for action has been made by the human rights activist Omoyele Sowore, challenging Nigerians across ethnic lines to join him in a peaceful march to the Aso Rock presidential villa to demand Mr. Kanu's release, even as his health is reported to be fast deteriorating in custody. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the irrepressible human rights activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What has motivated you to take the step of calling on people to take to the streets to draw attention to the need to release Mr. Kanu?
It's a number of things, and one is that we're friends, and we've been friends for a long time. In fact, I was one of the few people through Sahara TV that interviewed Nnamdi Kanu when he was relatively unknown, before he was arrested the first time. And I met him in 2019 in New York, had a conversation about the struggle for his people, and we struck a friendship then. And I was here in Nigeria, myself, held up by the Nigerian government when he was extraordinarily rendition from Kenya. In fact, I was one of the few people who ran to court by the time he had been taken to the DSS detention, where he had been deposited before, after he was kidnapped from Kenya. So, but the most important thing is that I understand the nature of justice, fair hearing, his constitutional right. And it is in his own case that you can say that he's presumed guilty and he's trying to prove his innocence, which is very sad. If you look at how long it has taken for all these court processes to take place, you know that Kanu's fate is not in the hands of the judiciary. If a decision was taken today by the owners of Nigeria to let him go, the judge might sit in the middle of the night and let him go. And by the way, on my way here, something happened. President Tinubu just pardoned 82 people. One of them was Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Kanu, of course, Farouk, who collected bribe from Otedola, a cocaine dealer who was in prison for life, and a fraudster. So if you can pardon this array of people and several others, I'm not asking for pardon for him, but it's a time to let Nnamdi Kanu go.
Is there a lot of public support for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, or is that difficult to gauge?
Oh, it's unprecedented. You know, I've been fighting for his release for a long time. I used to attend all his court trials. Under Buhari, I was attacked several times. Each time I went to court, I was attacked physically by the DSS, police, thugs. But this time around, I'm surprised at the number of known traditional people, you know what I mean, who are in support of it. In fact, there was a poll put up by, you know, it's not a scientific poll, by Tunde Edno's page, who's a major Instagram influencer. And out of 17,000 people, 92% of them support the call for his release and the protest that's been planned for 20th of October.
I understand you've tried to contact many leaders in the Southeast to take more public-facing action in support of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Have you been struck by their apparent lack of personal involvement and commitment to that cause?
I'm not shocked, because I think on your show I once declared that Kanu's predicament, his ordeal, is as a result of some persons in the Southeast who took a decision that his release would jeopardize their political career and future. That I know as far back as when Tinubu freshly became president, because I was part of some conversation to release him. And they said at that time, Imo elections are coming. If it comes out, APC might not win. And subsequently, I realized that some of the communiques you see is just, you know, word of mouth by day. When they go at night or when they meet Tinubu, it's likely that they have a different position. And when I started contacting them in the last 24 hours, I'm shocked. You know, some of them that I used to be able to reach just switched off their lines. The ones I sent messages never responded. I reached out to Soludo, who I know personally.
That's Charles Soludo, who's
governor of Anambra State.
Right.
No response till now. I reached out to Alex Oti. Alex Oti used to be a columnist for Sahara Reporters, so I know him personally. No response till now. The only response I got was a nominal response that no, we shouldn't have
dragged us the way you did. Reached out to Peter Obi, they said he's in Rome. But I sent a message that, you can behave as the Romans do too, just be part of this. But some have been encouraging. Senator Baribe, I reached out to him, he responded, he said, I'm in on this. And I know that Baribe suffered when he was a shorty for Kanu. In fact, I was sleeping on a Baribe's bed at the DSS in 2019, shortly after he was released, because he was shorty for Nnamdi Kanu. So the rep from his state at the House of Rep also has signed up. A number of persons have signed up, some of them publicly, but there is no unified response from Southeastern political leaders or traditional rulers or even the religious priesthood there, which many had expected would happen. But a lot of young people have signed up to this, and you can see that the Nigerian government is already pushing back because they've seen the response to be unequivocally in support of the release of Nnamdi Kanu at this time. I don't think they were expecting that such a response would be so favorable and swift.
So is this what you think is needed to push this Nnamdi Kanu issue over the line and perhaps change President Tinubu's view of Mr. Kanu and not the sort of behind-the-scenes quiet diplomacy that has been going on since?
It's obvious that diplomacy cannot work. If it was going to work, by now it would have resolved the issue. I think they used the diplomacy or their proclamation about diplomacy to just make the public become a little lethargic about his release so that nobody, they're working on it, don't worry. Because we hear that a lot from Oti, who is the Abia State governor, that is working on this quietly. In fact, I was told in court about 2 weeks ago that he will be released on head grounds. They had convinced everybody, only for him to come to court, and they kept changing the goalpost, as we call it. So I don't think diplomacy has to be a combination of, actions. And one of it, I think, is going to be a loud public disapproval of his continued detention, and a protest would work, in my view, in that regard. And that's why I want these people who claim to want him to be released to join the protest. Yes, because when they have issues, they do protest. There's no major politician in this country has ever participated in the protest when their own private interests are at stake.
I was speaking to a group of Nigerian political campaigners recently, and they seem to think that mobilizing the Nigerian people for any kind of large-scale protest has become a sort of famously impossible thing to achieve. I mean, do you share that view?
Well, I don't. It's the same country in 2024 that Nigerians protested for 10 days straight in what was known as End Bad Governance struggle. Nigerians in 2020 did End SARS. It was a globally acclaimed resistance.
Well, to be fair, the End SARS was the last big protest.
Yes, but there was still a protest in 2024. It may not have been as big. What I'm saying is that, yes, there's been efforts to discourage Nigerians, and when you go out there and kill people and charge them for offenses that are very grievous in nature.
So guys, wahala deal. Like, this protest is actually going to be a massive one. Like, it's even going to be more than the End SARS protest. Like, it's going to be so big. You guys heard what Shewore said. He said that those people, those politicians who want the release of Nnamdi Kanu, he tagged all of them to come out. It's not just about going on social media to say, oh, you want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. No. He said why he tagged them was so that they will come out and also join in the protest, so that everybody will know that they really mean it from their heart. Like, this is going to be the biggest protest ever, which is going to be coming up on October 20th. Like, we are going to see what is going to happen. The whole world is watching. Nigerians are all waiting to see how this protest is going to turn out. Just like Shewore said that he wants politicians. You can see that Atiku, Jonathan, and many other people have come out, saying that they are going to lend their voices in this protest. Many people are willingly to, join Shewore to protest for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Anyway, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thoughts below, and also if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do well to hit the subscribe button, like and share the video. So guys, thanks for watching. See you guys again in my next live section.